The hum of soft jazz music mingled with the clinking of cutlery as I stood in front of the tall mirror, adjusting the strap of my simple navy blue dress. My stomach churned with a strange mix of nerves and dread. Tonight wasn't just any dinner. It was the first full family gathering since my husband, Michael, and I got married 8 months ago. Michael came from a well-known, wealthy family in Lagos, while I, Chiamaka, was from a modest, middle-class background. His parents had been polite during our wedding preparations, but I could always sense an unspoken judgment lingering in their eyes. I had grown up in Enugu, the only daughter of a single father who worked tirelessly as a mechanic to raise me after my mother passed away. My father, Papa Chike, was my entire world. He was soft-spoken, humble, and fiercely protective of me. When Michael first came into my life, Papa had been skeptical. "Amaka," he had said one evening, his hands greasy from fixing a client's car, "love is sweet, but don't let it blind you. These wealthy families, they sometimes see us as tools or trophies. Look well before you leap." I'd laughed back then, teasing him for being overprotective. But standing there now, about to face my in-laws in their sprawling mansion, Papa's words echoed in my head like a haunting drumbeat. "Babe, you ready?" Michael's voice broke through my thoughts. I turned and forced a smile. "Yeah, let's go." The drive to his parents' mansion was quiet, save for the occasional hum of the car engine. Michael seemed distracted, tapping the steering wheel rhythmically. When I asked if everything was okay, he just said, "It's fine. They're just excited to see us." But something about his tone didn't feel right. The mansion loomed ahead, its walls glowing a warm gold under the evening lights. As we walked in, we were greeted by Michael's mother, Clara, a tall, elegant woman with a smile that never reached her eyes. "Chiamaka, you look simple," she said, her gaze lingering on my dress. "Thank you, Mama," I replied politely, though her tone stung. Michael's father, Chief Adeyemi, was seated in a grand armchair, sipping wine. His stern face softened only slightly when he saw us. "Ah, Michael, my son. Welcome." His eyes flicked to me, then away, as though I were a passing shadow. Other family members began to arrive, the cousins, aunties, uncles, filling the house with chatter and laughter. I greeted everyone warmly, though I noticed some of the women whispering behind their hands and casting sly glances at me. Something was definitely off. We finally sat for dinner at a long, polished mahogany table. The air smelled of roasted goat meat, jollof rice, and freshly baked bread. I tried to focus on the food, but there was an undercurrent of tension that made every bite feel heavy. Halfway through the meal, Michael's cousin Tenny leaned forward with a smirk. "So, Chiamaka," she began loudly, drawing everyone's attention, "how have you been spending your evenings lately? Michael has been working late, right?" I blinked, confused. Yes, mostly at home, reading or calling my dad." "Oh." She exchanged a knowing glance with Clara. "Because someone told me they saw you at a certain restaurant, with another man." The table went silent. My heart pounded. "Excuse me?" Clara's voice was smooth and cold. "We didn't want to believe it at first, my dear. But there have been whispers. Pictures, even. It seems you've been entertaining men behind Michael's back." I stared at her, utterly speechless. "That's a lie. I would never." Before I could finish, Chief Adeyemi slammed his hand on the table. "Enough. Clara, are you certain about this accusation?" Clara gave a dramatic sigh. "I didn't want to say anything tonight, but yes. We have proof." She reached into her handbag and pulled out a few glossy photographs, tossing them onto the table like poisoned darts. I gasped. The pictures showed me sitting at a cafe with a man, my childhood friend, Ibuka. We had met up 2 weeks ago to discuss his new job and catch up on old times. In one photo, he was leaning across the table, laughing. In another, it looked like he was touching my hand. The images were innocent, but taken completely out of context. Michael's face darkened as he stared at them. Chiamaka, what is this? Tears filled my eyes. Michael, that's Chiamaka. You know him. We've been friends since childhood. There's nothing going on between us. Clara's voice dripped with venom. Friends don't meet secretly when their husbands are away. Friends don't touch each other like that. My hands trembled as I tried to speak, but my words caught in my throat. The entire room seemed to close in on me, their judgmental eyes like daggers. Then, Tenny added fuel to the fire. And that's not all. Someone saw you entering a hotel with him last week. My mouth fell open. That's impossible. I was home all night. Clara gave a sly smile. Are you calling the entire family liars? The room erupted into murmurs. My vision blurred with tears and rage. I turned to Michael, desperate for him to defend me. Michael, please. You know me. You know I would never betray you. But he just sat there, silent, his jaw clenched. His silence cut deeper than any insult. Then, Clara delivered the final blow. Chiamaka, she said coldly, you may have tricked my son into marrying you, but you cannot fool us forever. Women like you only come into wealthy families to take what doesn't belong to you. Her words stabbed me straight through the heart. That's when I realized this wasn't about alleged infidelity. It was about my background. To them, I would always be the poor girl who wasn't worthy of their golden son. I rose shakily to my feet. You people are evil, I whispered. You fabricated this entire story to destroy my marriage. Clara laughed, a chilling sound. If the shoe fits, my dear, wear it. At that moment, the front door creaked open. Everyone turned as my father walked in, dressed in his worn but clean traditional attire. His presence was quiet yet commanding, like a sudden gust of wind before a storm. Papa! I gasped, rushing to him. What are you doing here? He placed a comforting hand on my shoulder. I came because my spirit told me something was wrong tonight. Clara raised an eyebrow, smirking. Ah, the mechanic has arrived. Perfect timing. Maybe you can teach your daughter how to behave like a proper wife. Laughter rippled through the room. But Papa didn't flinch. His eyes scanned the table slowly, landing on each person until the laughter died. There was a weight to his silence that made even Chief Adeyemi shift uncomfortably. Finally, Papa spoke. His voice was calm but carried an edge that silenced everyone completely. I have listened to lies tonight, he said, his gaze fixed on Clara. And I have remained quiet. But now, I will speak truth. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small flash drive, holding it up for all to see. This, he said, is evidence. Evidence that will reveal who the real schemers are in this room. Clara's smirk faltered. What are you talking about, old man? Papa looked straight at her, his expression unreadable. About how you and your niece have been plotting against my daughter from the very beginning, he said slowly. And how you even went as far as to hire men to follow her, to take misleading photos, to create this charade. Gasps filled the room. Michael turned sharply to his mother. Mama, is this true? Clara stammered, I don't know what he's talking about. This is ridiculous. But Papa was not done. Do you think I am a fool? When my daughter told me about meeting her friend that day, I grew suspicious of the constant coincidences. So, I hired someone to watch the ones who were watching her. He plugged the flash drive into a nearby laptop. Within seconds, a video played on the large screen in the living room. The footage was damning. It showed Tenny slipping money to a strange man, who later appeared in another clip taking photos of me and Chiamaka from a distance. Then came the final clip, Clara and Tenny sitting together in a cafe, plotting in hushed tones about how to expose me and push me out of Michael's life so he could remarry into another wealthy family. The room descended into stunned silence. Clara's face turned ghostly pale. Michael stood abruptly, his chair scraping the floor. His eyes were blazing as he stared at his mother and cousin. You did this?" His voice cracked with rage. Clara reached for him, trembling. "Michael, I was only trying to protect you. She's beneath us." But Michael yanked his arm away. "No, Mama. You destroyed this family." My knees nearly buckled as relief and heartbreak crashed over me all at once. Papa held me steady, his quiet strength grounding me. And in that moment, I knew the truth: sometimes, the ones who claim to protect you are the very ones who wish you harm. But this was far from over. The room was so silent that I could hear my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. Everyone sat frozen, staring at the damning footage playing on the large screen. The final clip ended with Clara's voice saying clearly, "We have to make her look unworthy of him. Once Michael believes she's been unfaithful, he'll have no choice but to divorce her. Then we can introduce him to someone more suitable, someone who will benefit our family's status." The evidence was undeniable. Michael turned to face his mother, his chest heaving with anger. "How could you, Mama?" His voice was trembling now. "How could you humiliate my wife and lie to everyone like this?" Clara's perfectly composed face crumbled. She stood up slowly, her hands shaking. "Michael, you don't understand. Everything I did was for you. For our family's legacy. This girl would ruin everything we've built." I flinched at her words. Papa's hand tightened protectively around mine, his calm voice slicing through the tension. "Madam Clara, the only thing ruined here tonight is the trust between mother and son. You tried to destroy my daughter's marriage because you think she is beneath you. But you forget, character is not measured by wealth." Michael's father, Chief Adeyemi, finally spoke, his tone low and dangerous. "Clara, is this true?" Clara opened her mouth to deny it, but no words came out. The silence was her answer. Chief Adeyemi slammed his hand on the table, making everyone jump. "I warned you about meddling. You have disgraced this family." Tenny, pale and trembling, stood up abruptly. "Auntie Clara made me do it. She said if I helped her, she would convince Uncle to fund my fashion business." The room erupted into shocked murmurs. Michael's face twisted in rage. "Enough! Both of you, get out of my sight." Tenny fled the room in tears, but Clara stayed rooted to the spot, her eyes filling with desperate tears. "Michael, please, you are my only son. Everything I did was because I love you." Michael's voice cracked as he shouted, "If this is your idea of love, Mama, then I want no part of it." I had never seen him like this before, torn between his anger and the woman who raised him. As Clara sank into her chair, defeated, Michael turned to me. His eyes were wet, his face etched with guilt. "Chiamaka," his voice broke. "I am so sorry. I should have trusted you. I should have defended you from the start." My lips trembled. For a moment, I didn't know what to say. After everything, the humiliation, the betrayal, the pain, his apology felt both healing and hollow. Papa squeezed my hand and gave me a small nod. His steady presence gave me the courage to speak. "Michael," I said softly, "trust isn't just about words. It's about actions. Tonight, you stayed silent when I needed you the most. That hurt more than Clara's lies." Michael's shoulders sagged. "I know. And I will spend the rest of my life proving my loyalty to you, if you'll let me." Tears spilled down my cheeks. I wanted to believe him. I wanted to forgive. But I knew healing would take time. Just as I was about to respond, Papa stood tall, his voice calm but firm. "This marriage can survive only if truth and respect become its foundation," he said, looking directly at Michael. "You must decide now if you will stand with my daughter or let the shadows of your family's schemes destroy her." Everyone held their breath, waiting for Michael's answer. And then, slowly, he reached for my hand. I choose you, Chiamaka, he whispered. Always. But the night was not done testing us yet. For a fleeting moment, Michael's words seemed to mend something deep inside me. His hand in mine felt like a lifeline after a storm. But Papa's expression remained grave, his sharp eyes scanning the room. Choosing her is not enough, Papa said quietly. You must also confront the damage that has been done to your wife's dignity and to this marriage. Michael nodded solemnly. I will, Papa Chike. I promise. But just as I began to breathe again, Chief Adeyemi rose to his feet with a thunderous expression. He had remained mostly silent throughout the confrontation, but now his deep voice rolled like distant thunder. This family has been humiliated tonight, he said, his gaze sweeping over everyone. Our name dragged through the mud by lies and deceit. He turned sharply to Clara. You have shamed us beyond measure, Clara. From this moment forward, you are to stay away from our affairs. I will not allow your schemes to destroy what I've built. Clara's face crumpled. Adeyemi, please. No, he barked, cutting her off. You will leave this house tonight. Gasps rippled through the room. Even I was shocked by the severity of his words. Clara clutched her chest, as if his command had physically struck her. You would cast out the mother of your child? The chief's voice softened, but his resolve did not. You stopped being a mother the day you plotted against your own son's happiness. Tears streamed down Clara's face as she staggered toward Michael. My son, please, say something. Tell your father you need me here. But Michael turned his face away, silent. Her sobs echoed through the hall as she was escorted out by 2 house staff members. The heavy door shut behind her with a final, resounding thud. The tension in the room seemed to dissipate slightly, though the air still felt heavy with grief and betrayal. Michael sank back into his chair, his head in his hands. I can't believe this happened. My own mother, his voice trailed off, thick with pain. Papa stepped forward, his tone calm but firm. Michael, blood may be thicker than water, but trust is thicker than both. If you and my daughter are to have a future, you must build it on honesty and strength, not just love. I looked at Papa, my heart swelling with gratitude. He had not only protected me tonight, but he had also taught everyone in that room a powerful lesson about integrity. Later, as the guests dispersed in uneasy silence, Michael and I stood alone with Papa. Papa, I said softly, how did you know to record them? How did you know they were plotting against me? He gave me a small, weary smile. A father knows when his child is in danger. When Clara began visiting my shop under the guise of checking in, I knew something wasn't right. So, I kept my eyes open, and my ears sharper. My eyes filled with tears. You saved me tonight. Papa gently cupped my face in his hands. No, my daughter. You saved yourself by staying true to who you are. I only helped bring the truth to light. As Papa prepared to leave, he turned to Michael one last time. Son, he said, his voice heavy with wisdom, remember this, a good marriage is like an engine. It needs regular care, mutual respect, and honest work to keep running smoothly. If you neglect it or allow dirt, lies, mistrust to clog it, it will break down. Don't let that happen again. Michael nodded deeply, his voice barely above a whisper. I won't, Papa Chike. I swear it. Papa gave us both a final nod before walking out into the cool night air, his silhouette strong and unbroken. As I watched him go, I realized that tonight wasn't just about surviving Clara's lies. It was about understanding that love and loyalty must be earned every single day. I turned to Michael, taking a deep, steadying breath. This is our second chance. Let's make it count. He wrapped his arms around me, holding me as though he'd never let go again. And in that embrace, I found a fragile but powerful hope, proof that even in the face of betrayal, truth can set you free. No amount of wealth or status can replace the value of trust, integrity, and genuine love. Schemes built on lies may thrive for a moment, but truth always rises, and when it does, those who stand on honesty will remain unshaken.